My name is Stefan Troutman. I work for the ESD as an ed tech specialist. This is going into my second year at the ESD. Short version is my job is to support teachers anywhere and everywhere with educational technology. That doesn't mean I'm going to fix your computer. I could try. I'm not going to be very successful. There's much smarter people than me that will do those types of things. But I like to tell people I translate education to technology and technology to education, and where those two cross over. Like what are best teaching practices and where does technology fit in that? Because it doesn't always, and sometimes it's the best option. So I do kind of everything. I work with the other members of our teaching and learning team here at the ESD to provide comprehensive support for districts on a consistent ongoing basis, provide professional development regionally, both on-site and virtually, asynchronous, synchronous, all that type of this. Okay, Pear Deck. Very baseline is it makes your presentations more interactive. It only works with slides and PowerPoint. So someone asked me last session, does this work with like Google Docs or like other tools and stuff? No, this is specific to slides and PowerPoint. It is meant to enhance presentations. It does work on both those platforms. It only works on one at a time. It is freemium, meaning that there are free versions. You can get into it today. You can use it, you can play around with it, but you're not going to have access to everything. And it'll be very clearly marked what's off limits for you. And I'll show you what some of those premium features can do. I do think it's worth the purchase if you're going to use it consistently. It's about $150 a year. I worked in a district where they purchased it for like all secondary or like the entire high school. And it was a good purchase. I think it was a good bulk purchase if people used it just because of what it can do. It was actually a game changer during COVID and remote learning, and you'll see why here in a second. The other important thing to know is while it works with your slides, it doesn't edit them, destroy them, or change them. It's kind of like it goes on top of them. Like you put like a transparency or protective sheet over it, and then you're interacting with what's on top of it, and you can take that transparency off at any time, or you can put multiple on there. Like you'll see what I mean by that. Just know that if you've got a slide deck and you want to edit that slide deck, or you want to add Pear Deck to that slide deck, it's not going to mess it up anyway. You're totally good. It's a really good tool in terms of equity, providing individual access and individualizing information and student progress in that sense. You get kind of instant and individualized access to all of your students and their responses, and it breaks down some of those barriers to responses and participation in the classroom. It also allows you a certain element of control and structure as you're having students work on their computers, which is very, very, very important. And then it's a good way to get students involved in what you're doing. So as opposed to having like I have here a static presentation, what I could have done, there's a reason I didn't, but what I could have done is I could have given you this slide in Pear Deck and had you interacting with it as we go along. Again, it's an add-on or an add-in, depending on what platform you're using. Add-on for slides, add-in for PowerPoint, which is where I think we're going to run into some issues. There was about 50-50 last session. Some people could add it to their account and some people couldn't. That's just a conversation with your tech department, which as we go through, if you need help with that conversation with your tech department, that's something I do. It's that translation, education, and technology. I got that question all the time as a tech coach. I asked for something to be unlocked. Tech sees a reason for it to be locked for security purposes usually. So they ask the teacher, like, why do you want this in your classroom? Teachers don't have time for that. That's what I'm here for. Let me do the translation between, like, I know it's a security risk, not Pear Deck isn't a security risk, but I know like opening it up can involve this process. Here's why it's worthwhile for the teacher, and here's why we need it. So if you see the value in this and you would like some help talking to your tech department in that area, let me hook you up. Okay, and as we're going, I forgot to tell you, as we're going, if you have any questions or anything you want to address, just drop that sucker in the chat. It's over here in my other monitor. I'm consistently checking it. I am going to get you in there to add that on. We already talked about how it's free-ish, super awesome. All right, enough yapping. Let's actually get into it. Pear Deck, again, you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can create a brand new slide using the Pear Deck features, or you can create a presentation and add Pear Deck over on top of it, which is what I'm going to do here. So before we do that, I want to give you access. I'm calling an audible. We're going to flip this up. I'm going to show you how it works, and then I'm going to give you access. Let's see how that works. So I have the add-on installed already right here at the top of my slideshow. So if I just click on this, again, this is the presentation, has nothing to do with Pear Deck right now. It's just the slideshow that I used as tools for this presentation. I'm going to click Pear Deck over here. It's going to open up this sidebar, and it's going to give me all of these different little options here. So I'm going to add a couple of things in here. Let's say I want to add to this slide specifically. I want you to answer this question. Tell me one cool thing that you did this summer, and I want you to type that out, right? So I'm going to hit this little text response over here, that little bubble on the side. It says adding interactive question. That's it. Now you don't have access to it, but I don't have to do anything else to that slide. We'll see what that is here in a second. Let's say I want to give you a multiple choice question. What is your favorite vacation destination? And I don't know why I capitalized vacation. I'm really sorry about that. Then I'm going to add in my choices over here. Maybe you like the beach. You like the mountains. Maybe you like to stay at home. And then maybe you want maybe other. Right there. I'm going to update that slide and pop that in there. And then I want the one final thing that I want you to do is, nope, I want to change this. I want you to draw what you did this summer. And I'm going to make that a drawing slide. Okay, that was pretty fast. I'll show you how I did that in a second here. But I've got these 3 interactive slides here now. These are all just information that you can look at. And if I wanted you to be able to play around with me, I'm going to need to start a lesson. So again, I messed with my slide deck, but you're not actually going to screw around with it. And you'll see that here in just a sec. So when I'm ready for you to have this lesson and to answer those questions, I just hit start lesson over here. I have the option to make it student paced or instructor paced. Student paced means I give you the code. You can click through those slides at whatever pace you want, and you can just go asynchronously, and I can see all of your work whenever you submit it. Instructor paced means you only get to see the slides that I tell you you get to see. That's a pretty cool feature, so I'm going to show you that one. So I'm going to click instructor paced, and you are actually going to do this right now. So up here on the screen, you're going to see these instructions here. I need you to go to joinpd.com. I don't think you'll be able to copy and paste that or click on that, but it's just joinpd.com. So open up a new tab. PD is in Pear Deck. And then enter in this code, VHIQKE. VHIQKE. I'm going to give you just a second to do that. I'll be able to see you pop in here as soon as, oh, there we go. Somebody already popped in. And then I'm going to actually join on a different tab as well. So on my screen, like if you're looking at the Zoom, you can see the slideshow, but on your screen, obviously you're seeing this, right? So you can see my slide here, but off over to the right, you have this option for a little text box here. You do not need to save. You don't need to hit enter. As soon as you type, I can see what you're saying over here. I can, like I'm off on my other monitor, and I can see that somebody went to the Washington Coast, family reunion. I don't know where Lake Diablo Park is, but that sounds epic and I love it. I miss it and I miss it. So what I'm looking at over here are your responses. Students can't see that, but I can see them. So I'm just kind of moving that off and on the screen there. I have what's called a facilitator dashboard. Having this open in a different window like this is a premium feature. You can still see the facilitator dashboard, but you'd have to like pull it up on the same screen that this one is on. Now, let's say I wanted you to see what everybody else said. I can hit show responses, but all of your names are taken off. I can see your names over on my screen, but your names aren't, so that you protect the anonymity there, so students can put those responses out there and not have to worry about like someone tying their answer to them. The nice part about this and me being able to wait to show you the responses is if someone put something in here that was inappropriate, and since this one's deleted, I can just do this anyways. I can hide their response. So it kind of grays it out like that. And then it's not going to show up on my list as I show the rest of the class. So you can preview those answers. You had to sign into Pear Deck And I did it through Google Slides, so you had to sign into a Google account. If you have a Microsoft account and you give it to your students, they'd have to sign in with Microsoft. It's a little bit tricky with us because we've got split tools going in the Zoom, but their names are tied to it. So if someone puts in here like, hey, tell me what you did this summer, and some kid puts like, screw you, Mr. Troutman, I know who did that. Your name is tied to it. I also know if you had like a little sad face next to it. So every answer that you put, whatever green, yellow, red face you put is tied to those answers. It's this quick little SEL check, and it allows me to go in and check in with those students if I need to. So like, hey, Stefan, I noticed you put a little red frowny face on Pear Deck when we loaded it up this morning. Is everything okay? Right? This is little, it was just a misclick, or, we got kicked out of our house yesterday, that type of thing. Okay, so here's my favorite part. I'm showing you the responses. Well, this isn't my favorite part. I can lock your screens. So you now see this, your teacher's locked responses to this slide. So you can't click anywhere. You can't mess around with that slide. If I unlock your screens right now, now you can see the responses. And then when I click this button down here, and I know I'm probably having you bounce back between the Pear Deck and the Zoom, but what I'm looking at here on my Zoom is in the left-hand corner, I can see 6 of 18 slides in these arrows left and right. If I click right to switch to the next slide, it also switches it on your screen. And it doesn't matter where you are. There are people across the state in this presentation. I click that, it changes for you. And you can't click and back and forth between the slides. So you give that teacher the structure and the control over the pace of the information. So go ahead, and now you have a multiple choice option. So I'll show you what that looks like after you fill that out. I just put the prompt on the actual slide, so you can see that off there to the left. And then you just click whatever response you would like. And you can change your answer back and forth, and it'll update in real time as you change your answer. So then I could show the responses over here in real time. And notice I selected mountain, but if I were to switch to beach, that updates in real time. Now, those of you who are veteran teachers or just understand kids, understand the problem with that, right? As soon as kids see like, oh, I can manipulate what's up on the screen, click, 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 click. That's where this lock screens option comes in, right? So like give them all a chance to answer that question, then lock your screens and then put the responses up. All right, I'm gonna go one more slide so you can experience another type of response here. And then I'm going to show you how to get access to Pear Deck and give you some free time just to play around and explore some pieces in there, potentially create your own. All right, so I just switched to the next slide. If you remember, this was a drawing slide. I'm not going to over explain it too much. Just play, see what other features are on there, click on things. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to draw what you did this summer. And then I'll show you what those responses look like. So I'm going to set a timer. Okay, so I'm going to share these responses, but again, your names won't be tied to them. Notice I can look at them in a couple of different ways, and I'm seeing this on my facilitator dashboard as well. I can kind of preview everybody, but on mine, I see all your names underneath them. I also have the option to like favorite them, put a star in them to like highlight it, or like leave you feedback and give you some intentional, like some comments on there. I can click on them and they'll do the little highlight thing there for me. I'm in grid layout right now. This is what we were looking at our responses earlier. So it's this list format. So again, no names because I'm sharing to the rest of the class. They're actively updating as you draw. So if you were to add something to this, we'd see you add something, which again, students are students, like kids are kids. They're going to do what they're supposed to do, right? So you can lock your screens there if you need to. So I can go through, this. I like that. Getting some sleep in, right? So I can scroll through there. And there is a purpose for this. You can overlay all of them so you can see all of them together, right? You just kind of stack on top of each other. There's a drag and drop feature. So if you're thinking like, oh, if I were to like have someone like drag something, you can put that in there. One thing that a tool I really like, so if you're looking at the Zoom, if you're an English teacher, right, and you're trying to identify parts of a sentence, you could put a text on the screen and have students highlight different things, right? Or you could have them circle different parts of the sentence, right? And that's kind of a fat drawing, but you can make it quite a bit smaller. Do that, right? So it's a good way to, as opposed to like handing things out to students. If you just need them very quickly interacting with something, right? You can have them highlight, you can have them circle, you can have them interact intentionally with the text. You could then put them over on top of each other so you can compare different people's answers. And then this is saved is the other thing. How many times have we been like, all right, so where did that go? And who knows, right? Because the kids 10, 11, 12, 18 years old, and they have no idea where their stuff is, right? They can't lose this because it's all saved within archived sessions through Pear Deck, which is pretty nice. So that knowledge of students and that like history and evidence of their learning is all saved right here, which is a nice advantage to doing things digital. If you're a Microsoft user, you are familiar with the immersive reader. It's built into Pear Deck. If you're not a Microsoft user and you don't know what the immersive reader is, it's amazing. Probably the best thing about Microsoft in terms of accessibility. And it's built right in here to Pear Deck, even if you're using it with Google. So again, I did this through Google Slides. I have the option to use the immersive reader. It's going to read the screen for me. I can change how fast it goes, male or female. I can like mess around with different things here in the immersive reader. So just know that's built in and it's crazy powerful and super awesome. So in order, the Pear Deck can work as a website. So if you go to peardeck.com, right here, you can log in here or sign up. Honestly, going through either one is going to be just fine. I'm going to hit log in and I'm already logged in. So that kind of defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to show you. When I hit log in, it'll give me the option to do it through Google or Microsoft. So depending on what your school uses, I prefer to use this through Google. But again, if you're a Microsoft school, there you go. Just select the appropriate account or log in as you normally would with a single sign-on, and it's going to drop you into this platform. Okay? So you can choose to click around here a little bit and see what Pear Deck has in store for you. I would highly recommend going to the Content Orchard. I'm not going to say much about it. Just explore that. It's pretty awesome. If you need some additional help with Pear Deck and you want to see some of the stuff that they have built in, there's that help option. It's a pretty robust platform there as well. Or on this home page, you can see where it says create a lesson. And there's some different prompts and stuff here for you that you can use. So you can go to the Pear Deck website, or I did tell you it works directly within Google Slides or PowerPoint. And I want to show you how to get that there as well. So Pear Deck works as an add-on in Google Slides, which are just things you can add to your presentation tools. Add on in Slides, add in PowerPoint. Up here in the top, and I'll show you how to do this in Microsoft if someone here is using PowerPoint. Up here under add-ons, so if I've got a slide open, any slide, also did you know you can do this, slides.new, it'll open up a brand new slide. Up here under add-ons, you'll see get add-ons. And then you can search for Pear Deck. Mine's right here, probably because I've used it before. Here's Nearpod if you wanted to check that out. But if I just search for Pear Deck, it'll be here. I click on it and I can install it. This is where you might run into trouble. Completely depends on whether or not your district has opened up Pear Deck in the Google Slides suite or the Pear Deck suite. It just depends. It's different district to district. And again, I think I made this pitch or this offer before. If you want to get this unlocked in your district and you want someone to talk to your tech department with you, I am more than happy to be that person. Just shoot me an email. Include me, like CC me somewhere. I'm happy to give in my 2 cents, give any information that we need. I know for a lot of our small rural districts, sometimes those people are the ESD, so I can just talk to my colleagues there. They're great and super helpful. So once you hit install, you'll probably see this little option up here, but if you don't, you can just click on add-ons. You'll see Pear Deck for Google Slides. You click open, and it's just going to give you that little sidebar over here in just a second. So for PowerPoint, I closed all my windows earlier, so let me open up a PowerPoint. It's very similar, but I have found it's a little bit more restrictive. So I'm going to open up a new presentation. With PowerPoint, what you're looking for is the Insert tab. You want to go to Add-ins. And then mine says Admin Managed, it's right here, but you can find it in the store. So my Office store isn't available through the ESD. I had to ask our tech department to add it. If you get to this point and you see this same message, there's nothing I can do for you. It's going to be a conversation with your tech department. I would just go explore the Pear Deck website. If you get here and you can search for Pear Deck, go for it. Rock and roll. Let me know how that goes for you. But then, yeah, I love the being an awesome. Then they're available in Spanish. Oh my gosh. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, so there's a lot of SEL stuff in there. A good assumption with most tech tools is that there's going to be some kind of library of pre-made sources. Everything that I've presented on so far, the STEM Summit has had something like that. And the Orchard, I think, is relatively new, and there's a crazy amount of stuff in there. The Be Internet Awesome is awesome. The SEL stuff, there's a bunch of stuff from Newsela. The climate change stuff going on here. If any of you are doing the climb time stuff, like there's a lot, and these are kind of like PBS. That's the black hole image. Like there's a lot of stuff that you can just kind of drag and drop, and it's awesome, right? Good supplemental material. And Pear Deck is a nice vetted source, right? It's an established entity, and so you're not just going and grabbing some kind of rando stuff in there. You can trust this as a source, which is excellent. So that Orchard is a game changer in terms of just kind of ease of access and efficiency. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, the one final thing I want to tell you, and I wasn't going to do this, but I want to show you something. So you can go to Pear Deck when you have active sessions running, you can see them over here, and then you can end those sessions. And then when you end them, you can go into reflect. So peardeck.com from the home tab, go to sessions. You see all your sessions down here. They archive after 30 days. And so you can always go back and find your old archived sessions. Once you've closed it, if you click on these three dots and go to reflect and review, you get this option to generate takeaways. So I did this because I was going to like share a link with the people in the chat. But if I publish takeaways for this session, what this does, and I'm going to take this and paste it in the chat like this. I'm not sure if you can click on that or not, but if you were to copy and paste that, click on that. I know some people have gotten that from my previous sessions because it's going to look like I sent you a Google Doc. It'll come from my email address because I made these, but it's going to be one link. Everybody has that one link. And when you click on it, it gives you your own individual answers to that slideshow presentation on a Google Doc. And it has the original slides and then your slides with your answers next to them all the way. Like, it's awesome. And it was just that easy. I clicked like 3 things and I gave you the link. So when you're done, if you want students to have those materials, you do this and post it in Google Classroom, put it in Canvas, Microsoft Teams, Seesaw, whatever, and then get access to those things. So that is a super nice feature. And so if you can grab that, then you can take a look at it. If you don't care, then don't worry about it. So, all right, at 11:48 here, I'm going to skip past a couple of things that I had planned just for the sake of getting you out of here at 9:50. It's about lunchtime. I'm not sure if there's sessions at noon, but you can go and check those out. Again, this should have been like a fast and furious drinking from the fire hose. Okay, I understand what Pear Deck can do, but I don't know anything about it. I got lost in the orchard, and that's great. It's kind of fun to say. There's my email address. That is all you need. Just reach out to me and say like, hey, Pear Deck, and that's it. Like that's, if I get an email, if I get a blank email from you, I'm going to be responding to you. So I can go anywhere, I can do anything. I just kind of have this freedom and flexibility to provide the support that needs to be done. And that doesn't necessarily mean I have to come out to your district if that's not what you like. If you don't have the time for some goofball to be in your classroom or working with your PLC, I totally get that. But if you're looking for some kind of meaningful professional development, like, hey, I would love to get clock hours for learning how to use Pear Deck, and so it's going to take me more than an hour on Zoom, you got it. I can make it. I can put it on PD Enroller. I can put it out there and it'll be completely free other than if you want to purchase the clock hours. I can do that with any ed tech tool. I can do it with any concept. In fact, I've got a whole plan of things that I'm going to do that with, right? So be on the lookout for consistent monthly professional development that'll run through PD Enroller and Canvas, but have like a Zoom option in there. I am running, if you know what a PGP is, a professional growth plan, you can, I've been forgetting to talk about that in my sessions. That's a bummer. That's actively running. I am running a PGP cohort support with some of my other ed tech colleagues, supporting teachers as they write a PGP, implement it over the course of the year, and then submit it. PGPs are 25 clock hours, can qualify for STEM or for equity or both. And our course on top of that is another 14 clock hours. It's because it's that added value piece of face-to-face and coaching and mentoring. So we've got another cohort up and running. We'll start in September. We're thinking about doing a 3rd one in the winter. Just check out PD Enroller for those. And then if you want to sign up for a monthly EdTech newsletter, I'm going to give you a link to that, but I've got to do a shortened URL. just in case you can't copy it or click on it. Cha-ching. Just fill that form out. Email, name, and district. I'll add your email address to a monthly mailing list where I'll send out just once a month, beginning of the month, EdTech newsletters with here's the PD that's currently being offered. Here's some tips and tricks. Here's some things moving around at the state level if you care, some things coming down the pipeline, that type of stuff. So if you're interested in staying in the know or engaging a little bit more in that EdTech piece, you can always unsubscribe later.